find words for this. I'm actually amazed. Like, I didn't expect that to happen. This is new stuff, guys. This is some new stuff. Yeah, so this is my review for Daddy's Home 2. I think this might be less of a review and more of a summarization of the last 15 minutes of this movie. Or the last 10 or so, because what happens in the last 10 minutes of this movie is some of the most revolting, repulsive, and just overall shocking stuff I've ever seen a movie do. I mean, if you go back to like the early days of cinema, to like the 1880s and 1890s, and you showed them this, I think they might break all of their cameras. I really do. Because Daddy's Home 2 is, other than Boo 2, A Medea Halloween, is probably the least qualified I've ever seen a movie be. To actually be a movie. This is something different. And different usually signifies good for me, because different makes a movie good in my opinion. Unique thoughts and ideas. The weirdest part about Daddy's Home 2 is how similar it is to every other movie, yet how it can completely turn around at the end and become something so unbelievably absurd that I'm just in shock. So for those of you who care, Daddy's Home 2 is about Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg and how both of their dads come back to for Christmas, and they're all trying to outdo each other. So the entire movie is basically them trying to outdo each other by seeing who can be the dumbest, or who can make the kids the happiest, or who makes each other the saddest. This is literally Daddy's Home times 2. And I guess that's what the intention of this movie was supposed to be, because the tagline is like, more daddies, more fun, or something like that. This is actually really confusing. Okay, so let's just start out with the basis of this movie is. It's a generic garbage comedy movie, because it focuses far too much on improvisation. You can tell the scenes where they just improvised and hoped that it ended out good. And it's the same plot as Daddy's Home, literally to the point that they have an object fall on the back of a car and ruin the back of the car, just so that they can make a joke about how that also happened in the first one, and then they don't even focus on how it's fixed. And of course the comedy's bad. It's Daddy's Home 2. What were you expecting? It's awful comedy. It's unfunny. Mel Gibson does a fine job with it. All the actors are fine. The thing is, I don't know why they do this particular movie, because there's so many other things that they could do, but they decided to do this, and okay, let me just get down to the weird part about this movie. So at the end, they're all angry and bitter at each other because of a nativity scene that went wrong. And then what happens is that they all get into cars with still wrapped presents, which makes no sense, because why would they still have wrapped presents if they just celebrated Christmas? Wouldn't they have ripped them all up, or did they just set them out around the Christmas tree and then said, okay, now we're going to pack up in the car and go home and open them there? But what they pack all of it up, they're all angry at each other, and then suddenly they can't drive anymore because there's a snowstorm. So they all go to the movie theater and they all see a Liam Neeson movie, and they're all forced to sit in the front row. So the families that hate each other are together again. And then the power goes out, so they're stranded out in the lobby, and then some more hijink goes on, and then it's just something really weird happens. The little boy throughout the entire movie has had a crush on the Asian girl next door. And then it comes down to him going up to her and kissing her, and she's under mistletoe, and they're ready. And then last second he turns and goes for his stepsister and decides to kiss his stepsister, who is the daughter of the person that Mark Wahlberg married. Who, by the way, this is important information for later, John Cena is the girl's daughter. Oh, I probably should have prefaced this with spoilers. You don't care. Don't care. Don't go see it, please. But, so they see the daughter and they kiss, which one doesn't make any sense because the entire time he had talked directly about how he had a crush on that girl. And he had looked right at that girl where the other girl was nowhere close, but he just kissed her, and it doesn't make any sense. But then John Cena gets angry and takes her, and then Mark Wahlberg stops and says to his really bratty daughter, who's been bratty the entire movie, "Hey daughter, I love you." And John Cena, "I love you too, because you are the dad of my daughter and I have to love you." And then he turns to his dad and doesn't say he loves him, because get it? It's hilarious. They're a family in trouble. They hate each other and they don't love each other anymore, and it's family drama. It's hilarious. And then John Cena gets angry, so he's about to leave. And then Will Ferrell gets on stage and starts playing a song and starts singing that one John Lennon Christmas song. I think it's called "Christmas Is Over." And it's a really great song. I love it. And I'm sad now that I won't be able to think of that song without thinking of that movie. But John Cena loves that song, which is mentioned earlier. And it's also mentioned earlier that Mark Wahlberg's dad left him, Mel Gibson. He left in the middle of Mark Wahlberg's performance where he was going to sing that part to hook up with a lady. So that's why they have a lot of family trauma. And they start singing that song, and then everyone's happy, and then it's all happy again. And then Will Ferrell, one, he makes fun of people who go see movies alone, because he said, "Look at all of us in here. We all go to the movies together, and we laugh and we cry together, like anyone laughed or cried at this movie. And then and that we have the great makings of a Christmas party, and that we should all turn to each other and talk to each other." So they literally just ruined the basis of cinema, which is for an audience member to go into the theater to forget about their life and to watch a movie and just to focus purely on that movie. They literally ask you to stop watching the movie and turn to people next to you and start talking during the movie. And then nobody did that in my theater. Nobody's going to do that in any theater because that's stupid. And then so they start celebrating and cheering, and then the little boy, there's a line of girls lining up to kiss him, and then there's a boy in the line, and no, there's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. It's just that the boy the entire time had been shown as heterosexual, and there's a boy in line who's homosexual wants to kiss him. Okay, that's fine, but they play it off as this hilarious joke. He's kissed his stepsister, which is creepy enough, and no one cared about that. And then there's a line of girls kissing him, and then they're all celebrating Christmas. And I'm so confused because none of that was called for. That was all just so uncalled for, and it happened so quickly that I didn't have time to process it. And then at the end, Mark Wahlberg and Mel Gibson kiss, because that's what John Lithgow and Will Ferrell have been doing the entire movie. And then emerging from the stairs is Will Ferrell's mother with a different guy, and it's Sully. The Sully that Tom Hanks was in last year. They even mentioned that movie that saved people on the Hudson. And I'm just sitting in the theater because this isn't absurdist comedy. It's if it is absurdist comedy, it's not funny. It's just so random and uncalled for, and it does such a 180 that I was so confused. I'm at a loss for words. I'm actually at a loss for words. Everyone uses overuses that term. I use it too much, where you say you're at a loss for words, and then you start saying, but I could not find words to match how I felt at the ending. I said repulsed and shocked, but those don't even begin to summarize my feelings. I'm so... Oh my god. I don't know. Oh, wow. This is, if you've been to high school and you've done algebra before, and you've done an equation where there is no solution, where the answer is undefined, where it's 5 over 0, or any number over 0, that's what this movie is. This movie is 1 over 0. Because I can't find a number that matches it. Daddy's Home 2 is undefined. It is 1 over 0. I have no other way to describe it other than that. The first part of this movie, I thought exactly what I was going to say in my review. I was going to say it was unfunny. I was going to say it felt like a little kid who was just giddy to tell a joke. But this movie literally does not care about its viewers. It doesn't care at all. It's just gonna be itself. And there's nothing you can do about that, and I don't know. This is... If you want to go see a movie with your friends that's stupid comedy and you can laugh at the stupid comedy, great! Go out and have a blast laughing at this movie. I just know I sure wasn't laughing. I was shocked. Oh boy. Well... That's it. What did you think of Daddy's Home 2? Comment in the comment section below and let me know. I am Robert Burke, and this has been The Clever Critics. Goodbye.